uh, you and I need to be consciously working on it. I was doing a session for one of our business groups in Reliance today afternoon, and so the leader of that particular group says that apart from everything, and he was hearing me for the first time, and he says the way you uh, articulate your thoughts, the way you put words to your thoughts, the way you express is very, very different, very unique, very refreshing. And I said, yeah, it's just God's grace. But then you need to have good vocabulary. Right? And I don't come across many people who have good vocabulary. So maybe we need to start a series where we keep on communicating with students in their 8th, 9th, and 10th standards, that the importance of learning new words on a daily basis. What my father used to do when I was in school, not that I followed much of his advice, but whatever little I did is still helping me. So we were never allowed to play cards. Never. मेरी ताई जी ऐसा बोलती थी कि ताश करे नाश. So we were never allowed to play cards, but my father would playing cards. And those playing cards will be vocabulary cards. So there will be 5 words on one side, and the meaning of those 5 words would be on the reverse of those cards, and vice versa. So there will be 5 words on that side, the meaning of those words will be here on the other side. And so he will say, on the weekend, we will have a test, and if you are able to answer 5 words correctly, so that time we used to have those Pepsi in that plastic pouch, whatever you call it. And it was like a one long kind of a, I don't know what you call it, but it was more like a cylinder. And then so I have a sweet tooth, so I would just fall for that Pepsi and Fanta, and there was one more drink called Campak. What was that? I forgot. Whatever it was, but
Campa
just
was
for
another name. Campa.
Correct, right? So just to have that Pepsi or that orange juice, I would memorize words. So it's important that we learn words. Very, very important. So we would want to cover written skills. We would want to cover reading skills. How do you read? Right? There aren't many people who know how to read. There are techniques to read. So what are the 4 or 5 different techniques to read? Most people know only 2, skimming and scanning. But there are a few more techniques that will help you read faster, will help you read better, and also help you retain more what you read. So we would want to do something on reading, and ultimately we would also want to cover certain elements of presentation skills. So the 21 mistakes that most people make while they are presenting. So what are those mistakes and how do we avoid it? Right? So I think so this business communication piece will run for some time, and at least for this year, because we are already end of August. So we have September, October, November, December, 4 months. So if we take 2 sessions in a month, so about 8 more sessions, take off Diwali days and all of that. So around 6 to 8 sessions, we will cover on communication, right? So we'll work towards it. We'll work towards it. So next session on 11th I suggest should continue with the same topic of business communication. Even if there are few people, that's fine, because I have never been a person who wants a large number of people on the call, because even if one life is being impacted, which I'm sure definitely gets impacted, it solves a purpose. Yeah? So unfortunately, we don't have many people who believe in self-development. You call for
all those who have joined today, you have already impacted.
Correct. Yes. Thank you.
Yes, 9 of them.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So it's all glory to God. And so yeah, so let's get started. A quick question to all of you who are there on the call. I know Prakriti was not there last time. How many of you were there on the session that we did on 14th, if I remember correctly? How many of you were on 14th? Were you there on 14th?
Yes, sir, I was there.
Okay, so I hear one voice. Who else was there?
Shivam.
Yes, sir, I also.
Okay. Shivam,
Jain.
Ajit ji was there. Okay.
Yes.
So 2 out of now 12 people were there. So let me
3.
3 out of 12. So let
And
me
add me, then it is 4.
Okay, so 4 out of 12 were there in the session that we did on 14. So let me cover a few things that we learned last time on 14th. But let me start with this. Request one of you to explain what this slide means. Anyone? Please explain, what do you understand when you read this particular thought on your screen?
Dialogue is discussion and not a debate.
Correct?
Where discussion is trying to understand everybody's perspective who's involved in that dialogue. And debate is like, you're trying to put forward only your point and only yours is right.
That's right. So thank you, Prakriti, for that. But practically speaking, how difficult is this? If you are in a heated discussion, how many times has it happened that our discussions, they start on a good note, but by the time we come to the end of the discussion, it kind of degrades into an argument, and then it spoils relationships. It happens most of the time. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and no one wins in an argument. So the point that I want to drive home here is, when you are listening, be in the moment. Very difficult, very, very, very difficult. Not to listen with what is called a preconceived notion, or with a colored lens, as a matter of speaking. You take no position. So you neither agree with that person, nor do you disagree with that person. You just listen to that person. And that is the 5th level of listening. And there are 5 levels of listening. The 5th level is listening with empathy. And I said this last time, that if all of us can, when all of us, not just the 12, 13 on the call, but the larger population in the world, if we can just develop listening skills, I believe 99% of quarrels and fights will disappear from this world. There will be more harmony, there will be more love, there will be more compassion. It will become a better place to live, right? And we should never get into an argument to prove that I am right and you are wrong. Even if you prove, at what cost? Because your proving has dented that relationship. And once that relationship is dented, it is very difficult to kind of come back, because that other person, knowingly or unknowingly, will want to give it back to you. And then that's a small fire, then that develops into a cannonball of fire, and then it burns all relationships. So let us always discuss with a win-win mindset, not a lose mindset.
Anandji,
Ji sir.
I have one observations
Ji sir.
that, as you says, that when you start the dialogue and you end with the dialogue, you win or lose, something like that. So similarly in the cricket, when somebody is bowling, you are facing a ball. So even though you don't react, but because of their speed of the bowling, it will be hitted. So in the discussion also, if opposite party is bent upon to do the argument and try to win you, and you are simply passive, even though it converts into the debate. This is a simple observation. What's your say?
Very nice. A good point, sir. Very good point. So the point that I want to write here is three behaviors. Okay, let me put it in different ways. Good question. Thank you for pointing that out. So let me write three animals. What is this? What did I write?
Horse.
Horse. What did I write?
Cow.
Cow. And please don't bring religious sentiments right now. We are just trying to learn something that Ajit Saab just brought out. Now, what are some of the characteristics of, let's say, lion? Can you give me some behavioral characteristics of a lion?
Lion is aggressive.
Aggressive. I like that word. Thank you. Good word. Very nice. Aggressive. Good word. Thank you. Then?
Agile.
Strong.
Aggressive, agile, strong. Then?
Confident, like a king.
Confident like a king. Okay. Good. Thank you. Then? Maybe dominating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe overpowering. Wants to win over people. So the lion is a animal that overpowers someone. Yeah? So let's look at these words. Let's look at aggressive. You could add a word like arrogant. No, we are linking it to behavior. So just use animals so that it becomes easy for us to understand. Let's look at the word dominating and maybe confident, maybe overconfident. Yeah, so let's look at lion as aggressive, arrogant, dominating, strong, and slightly overconfident, overpowering. What about a horse?
Horse is fast.
Horse is fast. A better word is swift.
Yeah.
The agility that one of you spoke for lion, I would want to transfer it here. So a horse is agile. Okay, what else?
Something like obedient.
Obedient. Okay, good word. Thank you.
Loyalty.
Okay, so it is royal, right? So it is, you say wow. When you look at a horse, you say wow.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Can we say intelligent?
Okay, so horse is intelligent. Maybe a better correct, a risk taker, and maybe a better word than intelligent is focused.
Yeah.
You will not find a horse, kind of getting distracted from what the lion is, or what the horse is doing. So focused. What else?
Goal oriented.
Very nice, very nice. Goal oriented.
Dependable.
Dependable. Okay, dependable. Good word. Dependable. So let's pick up some words. There can be many because of paucity of time. We can look at horse as an agile, fast, swift, obedient, royal, goal-oriented, dependable, all that, focused. Well, how about a cow?
Humble.
Maybe a better word is meek.
Docile.
Docile is a better word. That's a good word. Thank you, sir. Docile. Okay. Then
Can we say calm?
Correct. So my question to you is, it's a good word. Whosoever said calm, that's a good word. Thank you for that. I want you to help us understand, is the animal cow calm or is it passive?
Calm. Calm.
Passive.
I think so. The cow, we will take that word passive and I'll explain what I mean. So let's take passive for a cow. Let's take arrogant, aggressive for a lion, and let us use the word assertive for a horse. Are you with me thus far? I'm trying to share something very interesting because of what Ajit Saab said.
How
So
did
what
a
is-
horse become assertive?
We will come to that. We will come to that. So if you're making notes, you can make a column and say that horse, you can put assertive against it. Cow, you can put passive against it, and lion, you can put arrogant or aggressive against it. Yeah. Now, this was from a behavior point of view. From a mindset point of view, when you look at a horse, when you look at assertiveness, what is the mindset? It is win-win. When you look at a horse and when you look at a lion, आपको डर किससे लगता है?
Lion.
Lion से. Respect किसके लिए आती है?
Horse के लिए.
Horse के लिए. Right, and let me say this slightly slowly for all of us to understand. So आपके behavior के वजह से जिन लोगों के साथ आप काम करते हैं, वो आपको respect करते हैं या फिर डरते हैं? तो अजीत साहब की बात को आगे बढ़ाते हुए, अगर आपके सामने एक लायन है, तो आप उसके सामने लायन मत बनिए. उसके सामने हमें हॉर्स बनना है, assertive बनना है. Assertiveness का मतलब, I will share my point, I will share my disagreements, but with respect. We will have difference of opinions, we will have difference of perspectives, but I will conduct myself with humility and humbleness at all times. Very, 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 very difficult. So if I were to tell you, or if you were to tell me, Anand, there is a lion in the room next to you, go and just give it a pat. Will I go? I may just, slowly, dabe paon se jaake main jhaap ke aunga, but I will not have the audacity to go and hug a lion. But if I are told that there is a horse in the room next, I'll be more confident. I'll walk towards it with awe, with respect, saying that, wow, there's a sense of admiration. You cannot take a horse lightly. You cannot, do whatever you want to do with a horse. So when you talk about assertiveness, we are going to cover that as a part of communication skills sometime in the next few sessions. We need to learn how to be assertive and never get arrogant. We need to learn something about what is called courageous conversations. And there is this beautiful sentence, whenever we have difference of opinions, heated discussions, if you don't speak it out, you will act it out. Think about this statement. If you don't, what did I just say? Speak it out.
Speak it out. You act.
We will act it out. When you act it out, you're becoming like a lion, very arrogant. And for all purpose of practicality and being pragmatic, we are surrounded by more lions or more horses?
Lion.
Lions.
More lions. Do we have more bosses or do we have more leaders? No prizes for guessing the right answer. We have more bosses. Now let's come to passive. What is passive? As a mindset, I lose, you win.
Yeah.
And that is a very, 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 very dangerous mindset to have, because I win, you lose, eventually will degrade to become I lose, you lose. That is even worse. So it's like a dormant volcano, and that dormant volcano is more dangerous than an active volcano, because pata nahi kab phatega. So from a behavior point of view, while the other person is wanting to, suppress you, pull you down, crush you, crumble you, make a mincemeat out of you, I need to have the spine to stand and say, I'm not a vegetable. You cannot, just say whatever you want to say and behave the way you want to behave. Say this in a respectful manner. Because remember, whatever you tolerate will get repeated. Whichever behavior we tolerate will get repeated. If someone is bullying you, you need to take a stand and a stance saying that, hello, let's stop it here. That's being assertive. Very difficult. Very, very, very difficult. Let me give you some sporting examples. I'm not sure how many of you love sports, but I love sports. I love cricket. I love tennis also. So when you think of Virat Kohli, assertive, passive, arrogant, aggressive, what word would you relate his leadership style with?
Aggressive.
Or his
Aggressive,
right? It helps, but does not help always. Look at someone like Kane Williamson.
Assertive, definitely.
An assertive. He is amazing. He is just an amazing leader.
Yes.
Look at Roger Federer. Look at Djokovic.
It is Roger Federer, very clear.
Right. So
Love.
it is just amazing how these people maintain their cool, calm composure. Is just mind blowing. Look at Ajinkya Rahane. When India won the series against Australia, when he came back home, his family had made a cake, and that cake was in the form of.
One second. I will.
Okay, so there is someone whose microphone is on. That's okay, right? So if you read that story, his family had made a cake, and that cake was the shape of a kangaroo, and they wanted to celebrate the win, and obviously they wanted him to cut that cake. He said, sorry, I cannot cut the cake because kangaroo is the national animal of Australia. We just won a test series, but you cannot insult their emotions. I thought that was a great gesture. Will you please read that article? You can Google about it, and you will get to know about it. That's a great behavior. That's a horse that wins you respect. You look at what is happening between the Indian team and the English team in the current series. Lot of words are being exchanged. Lot of bad words are being exchanged. Do you think that's good role modeling of behaviors? Yes or no?
No, sir.
Have you seen a Sachin Tendulkar getting or declared out on 99 and he knows that I was not out? Have you ever seen him speaking back to the umpire? He would still smile and just put his head down and walk back. How many times in the 90s has Sachin Tendulkar been given out in an unfair manner? There was no DRS during that time. If there was DRS, Sachin would have scored 125 international centuries. That's a horse. That's assertive. You always respect the other person. That doesn't mean that you agree with that person, but you agree to disagree. You are not passive. Right? Some of you, when you go out with your friends for maybe dinner or lunch or whatever it is, there are some friends, आप उनसे पूछो कि आप क्या खाओगे? They will say, "Aap jo manga lo, kha lenge." Do you have some friends who say that?
Yes, sir.
That's passive. And I just want you to reflect upon what your mindset is. Are you becoming a lion? Unfortunately, a lot of youngsters that I know are becoming lion. They're becoming aggressive, arrogant. They are the MBAs. You know MBA ka matlab? Mane badhu avde. They are not teachable. They are not coachable. We all need to be horses. So to answer what Ajit Saab said, while I have a lion who is always wanting to drag me into a controversy, into an argument, I should not get dragged into it. I will stay assertive. Very difficult, very, very difficult, but that is the right thing to do. But a good question, very nice question. Otherwise, I would not have shared these three animals with you.
But
So-
sir, your answer is still better than the question.
Nahin,
That's
thank you.
the
But,
beauty.
We are
but
here
the-
to
Very
learn
nice.
from
Very
animals.
nice of us
We are,
thank
to realize
are-
this. Yes.
we are learning from the animals. This is
Correct.
the beauty.
Absolutely. There is so much to learn. And next time when you see a horse, you will recall what we just shared. Hence, whenever you share something with anyone, try to make it visual. Try to help people visualize it. So a horse is an animal that we see very often. Cow we see very often. Lions may not be face to face, but we see it in pictures. So you will remember, oh, lion hai ye.
This has corollary also.
Correct.
When you go for your selection of the life partner, you can identify the person from
That's right.
his behavior and communication.
Absolutely. Right. So it is.
The lighter side.
Today, by the way, sorry, Patel.
The lighter side is that when we go to see them, they look like cow. and then
That's right. That is right. That is Prakriti will never understand it, but that's fine. So, by the way, on a lighter note, today is World's Happy Husbands Day. So to all the husbands on the call, happy Husbands Day to all of you. Right. So, anyways, right. So, coming back to this, one of the learnings that. जी सर.
MS धोनी की लीडरशिप को असर्टिवनेस में ले सकते हैं आपने?
किसको?
MS धोनी
MS
की
Dhoni assertive.
leadership
Absolutely. He never, मतलब उसने sledging नहीं करी ना, उसने कभी सामने वाले को क्या बोलते हैं उसको instigate नहीं किया. वो अपना cool, calm, composed में, but he was very assertive. You will not. The opponent cannot take MS Dhoni for a ride. He was very, very assertive, right? And arrogant leadership would be, let us say again, we don't know those people personally. I don't know MS Dhoni personally. I don't know Virat Kohli personally. We are just sharing these names so that we can learn from their behaviors that we get to see. Hence, I'm taking these names. So please don't get offended if you know them personally. So I'm just making my thought process based upon what we see them, the way they behave in the public domain. Look at Saurav Ganguly taking off the shirt and swirling it on the balcony of Lords. Assertive, arrogant.
Okay.
that was arrogant.
That is one answer is arrogant. What about others? If you remember that incident, if you don't know that incident, then forget about it.
Arrogant, sir.
Why arrogant? Why arrogant?
Was he just expressing his pleasure or by a particular way?
Could be. So again, before we kind of stamp a behavior as arrogant or assertive or passive, we need to understand what goes behind that behavior, what is below the surface, the iceberg theory. Only 1/10 is visible, 9/10 is not visible. So if you look at that particular event in isolation, it may look like arrogant, but if you look at the entire story, if you relate to what Andrew Flintoff did at Wankhede Stadium when the England team was touring India, he did a similar gesture, and he kind of said that, we are better than you. And when Saurav Ganguly took his shirt off, he was responding to Andrew Flintoff saying that we are as good as you, if not better than you. So, you don't take me lightly. You cannot. I'm not a carpet or a doormat that you come and wash your feet and go away. So that behavior for me would be more assertive. If you look at it in isolation, it will be more arrogant. Hence, the input, never look at behaviors in isolation. Try to understand why is a person behaving the way he or she is behaving. Right. So look at it from a psychological viewpoint, from an emotional viewpoint, from a physical viewpoint. Someone may be having a really rough day, a really tough day, and hence that person may have reacted the way he or she has reacted, right? So good discussion. Thank you for that. For the benefit of those who were not there last time, let me share with you the questions that are very, very powerful, right? So I would want you to think about these questions and answer it for yourself, not for anyone else, and no need to answer it on this call as well, but just keep that in your mind. So this is our test of how good are we on listening. So think of a scale of, let's say, 1 to 10. 10 being brilliant, excellent, extraordinary. 1 means not so good. 5 would be average. And so scale of 1 to 10, 1 is a low score, 10 is the highest possible score. Keep on rating yourself. Keep a pen and a paper and rate yourself on the next 12 questions. Are you all ready with a pen and a paper?
Yes.
Great. And be honest to yourself. That's my only expectation. First question. Do I, changing the language of the question, do I make assumptions about the person I'm listening to? You could say yes and no in that answer, and then give yourself a score on 1 to 10. How often you do it, or how rarely you do it. So that scale of 1 to 10 will change basis the question. So some questions will be how often and rarely. So just keep flexibility as far as that scale is concerned. Tell me when you're done. I will move to the next question.
Done.
Done? Okay, great. So you have an answer to this question. Question number 2 coming your way. Do I and what are personality types? Anyone who will give us the answer? Personality types का मतलब क्या होता है?
Type A, type B, type C.
What is ABC?
Introvert, extrovert, sir.
Correct. So that is a different thing. So introvert, extrovert is a different concept. Type A, type B, type C क्या होता है? Okay, so we will do a complete session on personality types. So I could be an extroversion person. or an introversion person. So many of us don't understand what these means. We just say that, okay, he or she is extrovert. You may or may not like extrovert people. You may say he or she is introvert. You may or may not like introvert people. Type A, type B, type C. Then you have got people who are melancholy, choleric, and again, not getting into all that, but there are assessments that we can do that will help you understand what is your personality type. We also have something called DISC profiling, DISC. You may want to go to Google and do a DISC profiling for yourself and check it out, right? So I may be of a particular personality type. Okay, let me make it very simple for you. Have you seen some people, after locking their home, they will walk a few steps, then come back and then pull the lock to see whether barabar band hua hai ki nahi hua hai?
Yes, even the geyser and all.
Correct. And you will wonder, yeah, kya manas che su kare che band thei gayu che na bhai. Have you seen some people who lock the car with the remote key and then walk a few steps away and then come and check darwajo band thayo ke nahi?
Yes.
Yeah. And you may not be that type. You may not be that type. And you will wonder, ene bharoso જ નથી. He's so skeptical. She's so skeptical. It's not about being skeptical. That is how they are. Have you seen? You may find this funny, but listen to me. Have you seen some people who will proofread a Xerox copy? That's how people are, right? So there are some people who are very quick in decision making, and there are some people who are very thorough in decision making.
These psychologists or psychiatrists say OCD also, obsessive compulsive disorder.
Correct. Could be that as well, right? So again, we will do a separate session on understanding people, right? So our personalities are different, our communication styles are different, and in this series we may want to do a questionnaire on communication styles. Our social styles are different, our motivation are different. There are 3 types of motivation. People could be motivated by power, people could be motivated by achievement, people could be motivated by affiliation. Have you seen some people who want a particular designation and they are so mad about getting that designation?
Yes.
Designation mil gaya, salary badi ke nahi badi, that is immaterial. Abe hum manager bani gayo. Nothing wrong about it and nothing right about it. So that is people who are motivated by power. Have you seen in offices or at homes, when you go to someone's office or if you visit someone's home, you will see a lot of certificates and trophies, being highlighted there. It's showcased there. Aapne dekha hai?
Yes, sir.
That is a motivation of achievement. And have you seen some places where there are no certificates, no trophies, no nothing? Does it mean that person has no certificates and no trophies? No, but he or she does not showcase it because for him or her, the motivation is more people. It is more affiliation. So if I am a person motivated by, let's say, affiliation, I'll wonder, isko designation se itna pyar kyun hai? Just because that person thinks differently, acts differently, that doesn't mean that he or she is a difficult person.
People are different. I always remember that statement.
Correct. They are not difficult.
They are not difficult. They are different. Yeah.
Right? So do I judge people based upon their personality types? And once you start judging them, once you have a prejudice with them, then वो कुछ भी बोलेगा या बोलेगी, आप सुन नहीं रहे हो. You are judging them.
सर टाइप ए बी सी जो है वो क्लासिफिकेशन स्ट्रेस लेवल पर है. द पर्सन ए हु बिलीव्स इन प्रिसीजन 100% एक्यूरेसी एंड बी इज रिलैक्स्ड समथिंग लाइक दैट.
Again, वो बहुत गहरा टॉपिक है जैन साहब. टाइप ए इज आल्सो अ पर्सन जो कॉन्स्टेंटली एक्शन में रहता है, right? Some people also refer to it as a dogmatic person. उसको सिर्फ काम से मतलब है और कुछ मतलब नहीं, right? So we will look at it, but yeah, to a certain extent you are right. So हमें इस माइंडसेट से बाहर आना है कि ये इंसान मेरे जैसा दिखता है, मेरे जैसा बोलता है, मेरे जैसा चलता है, hence अच्छा है. There are, I don't know how to say this, but there is this word called bias. Prakruti should know this. You know this word bias?
Yes.
How many types of biases are there?
Types, I don't know.
MBA student, come on. There are 200 different types of biases. One of the most common biases, confirmation bias. जो हमने सोचा था अगर हुआ, મને ખબર જ હતી આવું જ થાય. That's confirmation bias. Right? So how do I, in my mind, not listen to someone with a bias? Very difficult. Very, very, very difficult. Hence misunderstandings होते हैं, and झगड़े होते हैं, breakups होते हैं, divorces होते हैं, fights होते हैं, nuclear wars होती हैं, World War 1, 2, 3, whatever is happening is all because of biases. We like some people, we don't like some people. And if the speaker is someone that you like, you will listen. If someone you don't like, you'll say, Pappu che. Yeah, so that is not good. Okay, great. Right. So, are you done with the second question?
Yes.
Okay. Third question. How often or how rarely do we do this? Isn't that a great question? मतलब मुंह पे चाटा मारे ऐसा क्वेश्चन है ना? Okay, just give me a signal when you are done with it. Yes, no. Don't write in the chat box. Unmute and please say that so that I can go to the
I'm
next
done.
question. Okay, done. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Next question. Do I? यहाँ पर अजित साहब का पॉइंट वापस एम्फेसाइज होगा. एक सलाह दूं आपको मैं सबको. वैसे आज की जनरेशन को सलाह की जरूरत नहीं होती, अप्रिशिएट भी नहीं करते. अनसॉलिसिटेड सलाह कोई चाहता नहीं है, बट क्या मैं दे सकता हूं आपको सलाह?
Yes, please.
ओके, तो ये याद रखना, छोटी लड़ाई छोटे लोग के लिए छोड़ दो. जिंदगी में बड़ी लड़ाई लड़ो. छोटी छोटी बात में इरिटेट होके, छोटी छोटी बातों में गुस्सा होके, छोटी छोटी बात में रिएक्ट करने का. तो आप पॉपकॉर्न होके हर बात पे रिएक्ट करते हो. पॉपकॉर्न देखा है? पॉपकॉर्न को एक हीटिंग प्लेट में डाल दो तो बुप 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 रिएक्ट करता है. And especially to the youngsters, not just the youngsters, everyone on the call, including me, याद रखो, रिएक्ट केमिकल करते हैं, हम नहीं करते. ह्यूमन बीइंग्स रिएक्ट नहीं करते. बट किसी को कुछ बोल दो, तो रिएक्ट कौन करता है? केमिकल करते हैं, पॉपकॉर्न करते हैं. आप पॉपकॉर्न हो, केमिकल हो. So don't get into small fights trying to prove that I am right and you are wrong. वो ईगो है और कुछ नहीं है. बिहेवियर विजुअलाइज करिए. आप हाईवे पे गाड़ी चला रहे हो या कोई चला रहा है आपके लिए और आप उस गाड़ी में हैं, एंड उस गाड़ी को किसी और गाड़ी ने गलत तरीके से ओवरटेक किया. तो कार ए चल रही है ठीक से और कार बी आती है, उसको गलत तरीके से ओवरटेक करती है. अब कार ए का बिहेवियर क्या होगा? द ड्राइवर ऑफ द कार ए, जो कार ए चला रहा है, उसका
Reaction.
बिहेवियर, रिएक्शन,
Retaliate.
चले मैं दिखाता हूँ, वो गियर चेंज होगा, फोर्थ में से थर्ड में आएगा या फिफ्थ में से फोर्थ में आएगा, जुप करेगा, उसको ओवरटेक करेगा, और ओवरटेक करके उसको ऐसे देखेगा। जो यू देखा है आपने?
Yes, sir.
वो ईगो नहीं है तो क्या है?
Sir, but natural. Human nature.
इसलिए अपने को कहते हैं ना कि द बिगेस्ट विक्ट्री इज विक्ट्री ओवर सेल्फ। इंसान खुद को जीत ले, इससे बड़ी जीत दुनिया में होती नहीं है सर। उसको बोलने का तू जा, कोई बात, तू जा। एक्सप्रेस हाईवे अहमदाबाद से आपने चला, वो बड़ौदा पहुंचेगा एक्सप्रेस हाईवे पे, राइट? फर्क पड़ेगा तो 5 मिनट का फर्क पड़ता है, और ज्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, 5 मिनट्स। आपने देखा है टोल टैक्स में लोग इधर से भी आएंगे, उधर से भी आएंगे, हर तरह के से आपको जैम करते हैं, देखा है आपने? आप क्या करते हो? उसको आने नहीं दोगे, नहीं तो आवाज नहीं दो, तो वो एंगल पे आ रहा है, आप स्ट्रेट जा रहे हो, एंगल पे आ रहा है, आप स्ट्रेट जाओगे, अल्टीमेटली कार टकराएगी, आपका डेंट हुआ, उसको तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ा, फिर कार पे डेंट हो गया, उसके लिए लड़ाई करोगे।
सर ये आपने बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट आउट किया है कि मतलब ट्रैफिक के अंदर भी हम लोग कम्युनिकेट करते रहते हैं एक दूसरे से विदाउट हैविंग एनी कांटेक्ट। मतलब हमारा उसके ऊपर कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है, और फिर भी जो है लोगों को बड़बड़ाते देखा है ड्राइविंग करते समय। ही विल टॉक बाय हिमसेल्फ।
करेक्ट। एंड वो टॉक को अगर रिकॉर्ड कर दिया जाए तो वो अनपार्लियामेंट्री लैंग्वेज होगी।
वो छोड़ दीजिए, पर वो उसका दिमाग उसके अंदर में जो इनपुट जा रहा है ना, वो कहीं ना कहीं ये बाहर भी आउटपुट के तौर पे आएगा ही।
तो एक सेंटेंस याद रखना, अगर नोट्स लिख रहे हैं तो आप इसको लिखना, दैट विच एंगर्स यू कंट्रोल्स यू। हर वो चीज जो मुझे और आपको गुस्सा दिलाती है वो मुझे कम कर रही है, तो मतलब मैंने मेरा रिमोट कंट्रोल उसको दे दिया। भैया आप जैसे चैनल चेंज करो और मैं चेंज होते रहो, ऐसा तो नहीं होता ना भैया। इसलिए ये सीख रहे हैं, ह्यूमन नेचर है साहब, एंड इसलिए दुनिया में ये वाट लगी हुई है, फाइट्स हो रहे हैं, क्वारल्स हो रहे हैं, घर में लड़ाई होती है, हस्बैंड वाइफ डिवोर्स लेते हैं, एक छत के नीचे दो अनजान लोग जीते हैं, बात नहीं करते हैं। जिन लोगों की शादी को ज्यादा साल हो गए वो सोचते कि अब डिवोर्स लेके क्या मतलब है, तू अपना काम कर, मैं अपना काम करता हूं। इज दैट रिलेशनशिप? सॉरी, we have to celebrate relations, we should not be tolerating relations. Just check for yourself. Yeah, so this is ego, massive ego, and ego is lion. Lion means I win, you lose, and हम याद रखते हैं। दिखाता हूं मैं तुझे, तो इसलिए कहते हैं ना, एक शांत दिमाग बहुत बड़ी ताकत होती है। बट आज हम लोग खाना फास्ट फूड खाते हैं, मिर्ची वाला खाना खाते हैं, वायलेंस वाली मूवीज देखते हैं, वायलेंस वाली वीडियो गेम्स बच्चे खेलते हैं, तो शांति दिमाग में आएगी तो कहां से आएगी? आपने कभी हॉर्स को पागल होते हुए देखा है? जिसको इंग्लिश में कहते हैं ना, दैट एनिमल और दैट पर्सन वेंट बिजर्क, मतलब पागल हो गया।
No,
कई बार कभी गाय को आपने देखा होगा, मतलब पागल हो गई, मतलब वो बहुत ज्यादा हो जाता है ना, तो पैसिव पर्सन पागल हो जाता है, फिर वो कुछ नहीं देखता है, पागलों की तरह दौड़ता है। हैव यू सीन अ मैड काउ रनिंग वाइल्ड?
Yes.
That is what a passive behavior will do in the future. Remember, I lose, you win will become I lose, you lose. We then run mad. I'm just trying to correlate a behavior that we see every day with what we are. And then we go berserk and we just crumble people under us. We just make mincemeat of them. उनका कीमा बना देते हैं. And फिर बच्चे लोग पेरेंट्स से डरते हैं. एम्प्लॉइज मैनेजर से डरता है. डर का साइकोलॉजी लायन का साइकोलॉजी. एरोगेंट है, एग्रेसिव है. हॉर्स के वातावरण में इंसान फील्स बिलोंग्ड. And that is so important. Okay, great. Chalo. I hope this is helping you. See, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
This is not a communication session. This is much beyond. This is
Thank you, sir. Thank
life,
you, sir.
life जीने की सिखा रहे हैं आप.
Absolutely.
Life skills.
Absolutely. Life skills. Very, very important. Right? Very, very important. So next time highway पे हो और कोई आपको कट मार के जाए, उसको बोलने का तू जा, कोई बात नहीं. छोटी लड़ाई छोटे लोगों के लिए छोड़ दो. अपने को जिंदगी की बड़ी लड़ाई जीतनी है, तो अपनी एनर्जी बड़ी चीज पे लगाइए. सोच बड़ी होनी चाहिए, बातें बड़ी होनी चाहिए. रिमेंबर, ये सेंटेंस मैं बहुत बार रिपीट करता हूं. ईगल्स डोंट प्ले विद चिकन्स. अगर आप मुर्गियों के बीच में रहोगे तो आपका बिहेवियर मुर्गी की तरह ही होगा. द पावर ऑफ एसोसिएशन के ऊपर मैं बहुत बार बोल चुका हूं. सो एनीवेज, आगे बढ़ते हैं. 5वां सवाल. डू आई ये क्वेश्चन हमने लास्ट टाइम भी किए थे, बट इतने डेप्थ में नहीं किए थे जितना अभी कर रहे हैं. बट हम में से कितने सारे लोग बिना मतलब के हाइपर हो जाते हैं. शांत.
I just want to check once again that getting hyper is not right, and if I am, then I'm towards the 1 or 2 side. Am I correct? That's the way
That's
I.
right.
Oh,
That's right.
thank you.
That's right. And it is, as Ajit Sahab was saying, very natural to become hyper, but become assertive, not arrogant. When you become hyper, what tends to happen, unknowingly it happens, deliberately nahi hota hai, inadvertently it happens. You are psychologically into a battle where you say, I will win and you will lose. I will prove that I am right and you are wrong. तो परिवार में जिन लोगों के साथ आप रहते हो, जिन लोगों के साथ जीते हो, जिन लोगों के साथ आप काम करते हो, उनके साथ ईगो बैटल में जीत भी गए तो क्या मिल जाएगा? इसलिए आई एम नॉट श्योर हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू नो, the world is getting into a state of loneliness. And you may want to check out, there are developed countries where there is now a cabinet level position, and that position is called Minister of Loneliness. Have you seen in the Tokyo Olympics, athletes saying, I'm not in the right mental state to compete? Did you see that tennis star who withdrew from the French Open, saying that I'm not in a mental state? Have you seen Ben Stokes taking a break from cricket? Mental state, not proper. I hope you know these examples. If not, you need to build your understanding of what's happening around us. There are so many people who are not able to manage this. The emotions here, very difficult, very, very, very difficult.
Sir, this is very important for the pilot.
Absolutely. एब्सोल्युटली. अभी एक हुआ था ना, फ्लाइट का पायलट को हार्ट अटैक आ गया एंड इमरजेंसी लैंडिंग करना पड़ा था इन वन ऑफ द एयरपोर्ट्स.
बट दे आर नॉट अलाउड टू टेक लीव एंड ऑल दिस थिंग. उनके यहाँ इतना प्रेशर होता है काम का कि वो कोई रिलीवर नहीं होता है तो उसको ही जाना पड़ता है कमर्शियल फ्लाइट्स.
पायलट का छोड़ दीजिए साहब, अपने सेल्स वाले को देख लो. आज हर इंसान नो मैटर विच डोमेन में है, इतना स्ट्रेस क्यों बढ़ता है? तो स्ट्रेस क्या होता है साहब? स्ट्रेस का फॉर्मूला क्या होता है? एस इज स्ट्रेस. स्ट्रेस का फॉर्मूला क्या होता है? P ओवर E. P ओवर R, सॉरी, नॉट E. तो P क्या होता है इधर बताओ? व्हाट इज P? ये स्ट्रेस है. प्रेशर.
Pressure.
करेक्ट. ओके, गुड, वेरी नाइस. तो स्ट्रेस और प्रेशर में फर्क क्या होता है?
Constant pressure gives stress.
No, that's a good thought, but no.
You are chewing more than what you can.
Correct. So that is what? Stress or pressure, sir?
Mm. Uh,
Sorry to put you on a spot, sir, but again, remember this. Pressure is always extrinsic. It is external. It is outside in. Stress is always internal. It is always inside out. So I cannot do anything about the pressure that work is creating. You cannot, I cannot. जब तक काम करते हैं, जब तक जिंदा है, प्रेशर रहेगा. प्रेशर के फॉर्म चेंज होते रहेंगे, बट प्रेशर रहेगा और प्रेशर बढ़ने वाला है. So again, कभी स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट पे सेशन लेंगे तो we will go deep into this topic, but अभी के लिए इतना समझ लो कि stress is internal and pressure is external. Yeah. What is R? R जितना कम होगा, स्ट्रेस उतना ज्यादा होगा. R जितना ज्यादा होगा, स्ट्रेस उतना कम होगा.
Rest. Resilience.
Rest. Resilience. That's the right answer. Resilience. Resilience क्या होता है?
A sort of tolerance.
ability to bounce back.
Fantastic, fantastic. So एक आपको मैं वीडियो दिखाता हूँ. आप लोग मुझे कहाँ से कहाँ, मैं लिसनिंग के ऊपर आपको इनपुट दे रहा था, आप मुझे कहाँ से कहाँ घुमाते थे. कोई बात नहीं. चलो, आपको मैं रेजिलियंस के ऊपर एक अमेजिंग वीडियो दिखाता हूँ. पहले आपने शायद देखा भी होगा, कोई बात नहीं, दोबारा देखने में कोई हर्ज नहीं है.
सर आज रिवीजन हो रहा है ना.
कई बार मैं सोचता हूँ विजन है तो रिवीजन होगा ना. हम लोग में विजन ही नहीं होता तो रिवीजन क्या करेंगे. एनीवेज, चलो हम लोग, मुझे ये वीडियो आपके साथ शेयर करना है. तो पहले शेयर साउंड, शेयर स्क्रीन, शेयर. आपको ये वीडियो स्क्रीन दिखा?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us learn what is resilience.
Morning, everyone. Who does it look like?
It looks like me.
That's right. I want you to do everything that you can to knock your toy down. Who is the strongest in class? Jeron, come on up, please. I'm going to give Jeron a prop, and he's going to try to knock it off the table. Ready, Jeron? Okay, children, who can tell me what it means to have resilience. Yes, Paige?
Resilience means if you make the toy fall down, it'll come back up very, very fast.
Very nice.
तो अभी बताइए रेजिलियंस क्या होता है?
सर कम बैक वेरी वेरी फास्ट. दिस लास्ट वर्ड जो है ना बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट.
अमेजिंग है ना? राइट. सो दिस इज रेजिलियंस. दिस इज तो स्ट्रेस के बारे में मैं और आप ज्यादा कुछ नहीं कर सकते. आई मीन प्रेशर के बारे में मैं और आप ज्यादा कुछ नहीं कर सकते. मुझे और आपको क्या बिल्ड करना चाहिए? मुझे और आपको जीवन में रेजिलियंस बिल्ड करना चाहिए. रेजिलियंस बिल्ड करेंगे तो स्ट्रेस लेवल कम होगा.
सर इसीलिए लोग जो है ना एवरेस्ट पे जाते हैं, माउंट एवरेस्ट पे,
जी.
टू इम्प्रूव देयर रेजिलियंस.
उसको बोलो मेरे पास आ जाए $25,000 बच जाएंगे. बट एनीवेज जोक्स अपार्ट. बट माउंट एवरेस्ट की बात करी तो उससे एक आपको मैं शेयर करता हूँ. मेरा एक सपना है माउंट एवरेस्ट पे चढ़ने के लिए. तो मैं पावर ऑफ विजुअलाइजेशन में बिलीव करता हूँ. तो कुछ साल पहले मैं काठमांडू गया और काठमांडू जाके वहां पर एक चार्टर्ड फ्लाइट लिया और माउंट एवरेस्ट के ऊपर घूमा, उसका विजुअलाइजेशन किया. एंड देन काठमांडू में उन दिनों में एक ऐसे व्यक्ति का सेमिनार था जो माउंट एवरेस्ट 5 बार चढ़ चुका है. 5 बार. एंड मैंने उनसे एक सवाल पूछा था कि सर क्षमा चाहता हूँ एक स्टूपिड सा सवाल पूछने के लिए, आपको बुरा लगे तो माफ करिएगा. बट मैंने कहा सर मेरा सपना है माउंट एवरेस्ट पे चढ़ के एक फोटोग्राफ लेने. तो क्या मैं ऐसा नहीं कर सकता हवाई जहाज लूं और माउंट एवरेस्ट पे जब पहुंचू तो एक लैडर नीचे उतरे और वो लैडर में से मैं नीचे उतरूं, माउंट एवरेस्ट पे चढ़ूं, एक सेल्फी लूं और वापस वो लैडर से ऊपर चले जाओ और वापस आ जाओ. तो मैंने बोला सर सॉरी ऐसा अटपटा सा सवाल पूछने के लिए. टेक्निकली इज दिस पॉसिबल? यस और नो?
Yes, sir, possible.
Technically it is possible, but ये होता इसलिए नहीं है because and he gave me a fantastic answer. He said that while technically this is possible, if you attempt doing it, once you land on Mount Everest, you will become bent from your waist like this. If this is my body, if this is my waist, I will bend from the waist downwards, and there is no medical science that can make me straight again because your body was not acclimatized to that condition. So acclimatization का process very important, very very important. रातों रात कुछ नहीं होता है. It's a process of acclimatizing to the situations that will help you tide over some very difficult situations in life. I hope I have made some sense.
सर रेजिलियंस के लिए बहुत बेस्ट एग्जांपल है.
जी सर. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड आज हम सबको मेंटल रेजिलियंस की जरूरत है. एंड आप खाली चेक कर लो रेजिलियंस के ऊपर कितने वर्कशॉप्स हो रहे हैं, मेंटल रेजिलियंस के ऊपर कितने वर्कशॉप्स हो रहे हैं, मेंटल वेलबींग के ऊपर कितने वर्कशॉप्स हो रहे हैं. तो लोग स्ट्रेस मैनेज नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, बट वो समझ नहीं रहे हैं कि स्ट्रेस इंटरनल है. प्रेशर की वजह से स्ट्रेस नहीं आ रहा है, अपना रेजिलियंस कम हो रहा है. एंड आई नीड टू बिल्ड माय रेजिलियंस.
सर इंडिया में अभी जोक शुरू हो गया है कि अफगानिस्तान से इतने ड्राई फ्रूट्स बादाम वगैरह सब आते थे, तो वो लोग तो जरूर खाते ही होंगे, उनका मेंटल रेजिलियंस तो और अच्छा होना चाहिए. लेकिन अभी तो कंडीशन बहुत खराब है.
तो मैं सोचता हूँ ये जो ऐसे जोक्स जो लोग बनाते हैं उनको बोलो अपने इंटेलिजेंस, अपनी क्रिएटिविटी कुछ अच्छी जगह पे लगा ले.
सर लोग कहते हैं ना ड्राई फ्रूट्स बादाम काजू अखरोट वगैरह जो है आपका मेंटल स्टेटस को इम्प्रूव करता है, उसके लिए बनाया.
पता नहीं सर, बादाम खाने से अक्ल नहीं आती है, जिंदगी में ठोकर खाने से अक्ल आती है. ये मेरा मानना है सर.
Again, what's noting down? What's noting down?
आनंद के one liners.
Yes, आनंद के one liners.
Right, so जितने बादाम लोगों ने खाए हैं
सर ठोकर खाकर ठाकुर बनते.
बट ठाकुर मत बना करे सर. ठाकुर लोग बड़े इगोइस्टिक लोग होते हैं जनरली.
चक्कर
Anyways, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Hyper in the negative sense of the word is wrong. Hyper अगर आप energetic way में ले रहे हैं, तो then it is a good trait. Next question. Do I frequently have something else on my mind? इसलिए कहते हैं ना, multitasking is a myth. Multitasking आप नहीं कर सकते. कितनी बार आपने देखा होगा कि कोई इंसान फोन के ऊपर कुछ कर रहा है एंड आपसे कोई और बात कर रहा है, बोल रहा है तू बोल, मैं सुन रहा हूँ तुझे. नो, आप अपना मोबाइल पे टेक्सटिंग कर लो पहले, या मुझे सुन लो, या मैं रुक जाता हूँ, आप टेक्सटिंग बाद में कर लीजिए, फिर बाद में मैं बात करता हूँ. ये बिहेवियर असर्टिव है, एरोगेंट नहीं है. बिकॉज आई डोंट वांट someone to take me lightly. मैं आपसे कुछ बात करने के लिए आया हूँ, कुछ important चीज आपके साथ शेयर कर रहा हूँ. At least I expect you to pay attention to me. And ये हम सब के साथ होता है, हम सब करते हैं. आप नेक्स्ट टाइम अपना बिहेवियर नोट करिएगा. जब आपकी माँ आपसे बात कर रही होती है, मम्मी जब आपसे बात कर रही होती है, आपकी नजर मोबाइल पे क्यों होती है? It is a disrespectful behavior. You will not like anyone doing it to you, then why are you doing it to your mother? आईना दिखा रहा हूं, अपना बिहेवियर खुद स्टडी करिएगा. Question 7. Do I become too busy to listen? Do I feel too tired to listen? मेंटली टायर्ड हो गए. आजकल लोग दिमाग से थक जाएंगे. हम जब एंडोरेंस करते हैं, साइकिलिंग लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस करते हैं, तो हमें एक चीज हम हमेशा याद रखते हैं कि शरीर नहीं थकता है, दिमाग थकता है. शरीर थकता है, दिमाग नहीं थकता है. बट दिमाग अगर आप उसको एनर्जेटिक रखेंगे, तो आप यू कैन पुल फॉर अनदर 10, 15, 20, 50 kilometers.
Maybe I just want to understand point number 7, become too busy to listen. Is this something good if I'm listening very intensely, or this is something different?
This is different. When you're listening with intent, which is very good, so you're busy listening. But if you're busy doing multiple things, then am I too busy to listen?
Got it.
In that sense. But if I'm busy listening, that's a wonderful thing. But what this question means is I am dabbling into many things, and then I'm also listening. It does. जैसे आप you would have seen so many times लोग अपने लैपटॉप पे काम कर रहे हो, कोई एम्प्लॉय आके कुछ बोलता है तो बोलता है बोल, मैं सुन रहा हूँ तुझे. No, then you are too busy to listen. So allow that person to finish that task, and then you speak or request that person to stop doing what he or she is doing and listen to what you have to share.
Got it.
Even for this matter, sir,
Yes,
it is said कि वर्क प्लेस में कभी भी बॉस के साथ अगर बात करते हो, चलते चलते बात मत कीजिए, ट्रैवलिंग में बात मत कीजिए, बिकॉज दैट हैज गॉट नो, उसकी कोई सैंक्टिटी नहीं है कि वो उसको रजिस्टर्ड करेंगे या उन्होंने सुन लिया. वो बोलेगा कि मुझे तो पता नहीं आपने कब बोला, क्या बोला, कैसे बोला. तो उसकी ऑफिस में जाके अपॉइंटमेंट लेकर के उससे मीटिंग करने से ही वो रजिस्टर्ड होता है.
करेक्ट.
That's
और
very
अगर वो
important, very
अपॉइंटमेंट,
important.
एब्सोल्युटली, एंड अगर वो अपॉइंटमेंट नहीं देता है और कॉरिडोर में आपने उसके साथ बात करी, चलते चलते बात करी, तो उसका फॉलोअप क्या करना चाहिए? ईमेल भेजना चाहिए कि मेरी और आपकी ये बात हुई थी.
ओके, बट वो रजिस्टर्ड होता नहीं है नॉर्मली. मतलब
वो तो रजिस्टर वैसे भी नहीं होता है, बिकॉज वो अपनी दुनिया में होता है, इसलिए वो बॉस है. लीडर कभी ऐसा नहीं करेगा. लीडर मेरे लाइफ में बहुत कम रहे हैं, एंड जितने भी रहे हैं, वो जब आप बात करने जाएंगे, फर्स्ट थिंग फोन को सैडल से निकाल के साइड पे रखेंगे, मोबाइल फोन को साइलेंट मोड करके उल्टा रखेंगे एंड बोलेंगे ओके लेट्स टॉक. लीडर वो होता है जो आपके साथ बात करते करते नोट्स लिख रहे हैं. ऐसे बहुत कम लोग होते हैं सर. इसलिए आज मैं और आप बहुत सारे लोगों को जानते हैं, बट हमारे रिश्ते बहुत कम लोग के साथ होते हैं. रिश्ते बनते क्यों नहीं है? क्योंकि हम किसी को समझते नहीं है. किसी को समझते क्यों नहीं है? क्योंकि हम उसको सुनते नहीं है। सुनते क्यों नहीं है? वी आर टू बिजी टू लिसन। ऐसे सोचिएगा, ये मैंने आपको क्या बहुत गहरी बात, पता नहीं आज सब इतनी गहरी बातें मैं क्यों कर रहा हूँ आप लोग के साथ, बट एनीवेज, राइट? ओके, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, क्वेश्चन 9. Do I find people boring and repetitive and feel turned off because of a lack of interest? Do I get easily impatient? तो पॉपकॉर्न वाला एग्जांपल मैंने आपको
सर, ये
दिया
पॉइंट नंबर 9 जो है ना,
जी।
वो ऑफिस में, वर्क प्लेस में चमचागिरी करते हैं, तो उनकी बातें सुनने के लिए तो हमारे पास टाइम होता है। कुछ लोग तो आते हैं, वो खाली ऐसे ही गप मारते हैं और अपना जो है रेपो डेवलप करते रहेंगे।
करेक्ट। इसलिए जो चमचे के साथ रहते हैं वो कभी ऊपर पहुंचते नहीं ना। सो फिर वो चम्मच और कटोरी के संबंध रह जाता है।
नहीं, उनका ईगो पेम्परिंग होता रहता है और दे फुलफिल देयर डिजायर।
वो जब रिटायर होते हैं तो कितने लोगों के आंख में आंसू आते हैं।
हाँ, वो बात तो बाद में पता चलता है ना, रियलाइजेशन तो बाद में होता है।
सब पता होता है, सब उनको सब पता होता है, बट एक लीडर वो होता है जो हमेशा लॉन्ग टर्म पर्सपेक्टिव रहता है। 3 सवाल हमेशा दिमाग में रखा करें, कोई भी काम करे उससे पहले 3 सवाल। हाउ मच डज इट मैटर, हाउ सून डज इट मैटर, एंड वेरी इंपॉर्टेंटली हाउ लॉन्ग डज इट मैटर। How much does it matter tells you the level of importance of the task. How soon does it matter tells you the urgency of the task. And how long it matters talks about the level of significance of the task. So हमें significant काम करना है, हमें छोटे मोटे काम नहीं करना है। So if I am in that state and अगर मैं ये चमचागिरी वगैरह कर रहा हूँ, तो how long does it matter? एक प्रमोशन मिल जाएगा, उससे क्या हो जाएगा, और प्रमोशन नहीं मिले तो उसे क्या हो जाएगा। ये 3 सवाल याद रखिएगा, हाउ मच, हाउ सून एंड हाउ लॉन्ग, जो भी हम कर रहे हैं मैटर। जैसे ये जो हम सीख रहे हैं, हाउ सून डज इट मैटर, इट डज नॉट मैटर टुमारो, बट हाउ लॉन्ग डज इट मैटर। इफ वी लर्न दीज स्किल्स इन द लॉन्ग टर्म, we will become better human beings, we will have better relationship, we will have more meaningful relationships, we will have more fulfilling relationships.
Very correct.
Next question. Thank you, sir, for that. Next question. Do I nurse an ego, maybe unconsciously? Ego का मतलब मैं तुमसे बेटर हूं। Lion is egoistic, dominant. हमें lion नहीं बनना है, हमें horse बनना है। And the last question for the series is, happens very often, especially in virtual sessions, जब आप distract होते रहते हैं, आपका दिमाग multiple चीजों पे चलता रहता है, and then you lose the plot, you lose what has been discussed. Yeah, so these are some points that are very, very powerful, and we need to remember this line. What does it mean?
I wrote this, your sentence, in the reminder poster and social media.
Okay. Very nice. That's a good sentence. It's a very, very good sentence. Okay, so let us end the day with a small video. This is a clipping that I've taken from one of the TED Talks. Listen to it, and I hope you will enjoy this and learn something from this.
we are losing our listening. We spend roughly 60% of our communication time listening, but we're not very good at it. We retain just 25% of what we hear. Now, not you, not this talk, but that is generally true. Let's define listening as making meaning from sound. It's a mental process, and it's a process of extraction. We use some pretty cool techniques to do this. One of them is pattern recognition. So in a cocktail party like this, if I say, David, Sarah, pay attention, some of you just sat up. We recognize patterns to distinguish noise from signal, and especially our name. Differencing is another technique we use. If I left this pink noise on for more than a couple of minutes, you would literally cease to hear it. We listen to differences, we discount sounds that remain the same. And then there is a whole range of filters. These filters take us from all sound down to what we pay attention to. Most people are entirely unconscious of these filters, but they actually create our reality in a way because they tell us what we're paying attention to right now. I'll give you one example of that. Intention is very important in sound, in listening. When I married my wife, I promised her that I would listen to her every day as if for the first time. Now that's something I fall short of on a daily basis. But it's a great intention to have in a relationship. But that's not all. Sound places us in space and in time. If you close your eyes right now in this room, you're aware of the size of the room from the reverberation and the bouncing of the sound off the surfaces. And you're aware of how many people are around you because of the micro noises you're receiving. And sound places us in time as well, because sound always has time embedded in it. In fact, I would suggest that our listening is the main way that we experience the flow of time from past to future. So, sonority is time and meaning, a great quote. I said at the beginning, we're losing our listening. Why did I say that? Well, there are a lot of reasons for this. First of all, we invented ways of recording. First, writing, then audio recording, and now video recording as well. The premium on accurate and careful listening has simply disappeared. Secondly, the world is now so noisy, with this cacophony going on visually and auditorily, it's just hard to listen. It's tiring to listen. Many people take refuge in headphones, but they turn big public spaces like this, shared soundscapes, into millions of tiny little personal sound bubbles. In this scenario, nobody's listening to anybody. We're becoming impatient. We don't want oratory anymore, we want sound bites. And the art of conversation is being replaced, dangerously, I think, by personal broadcasting. I don't know how much listening there is in this conversation, which is sadly very common, especially in the UK. We're becoming desensitized. Our media have to scream at us with these kind of headlines in order to get our attention. And that means it's harder for us to pay attention to the quiet, the subtle, the understated. This is a serious problem that we're losing our listening. This is not trivial, because listening is our access to understanding. Conscious listening always creates understanding, and only without conscious listening can these things happen. A world where we don't listen to each other at all is a very scary place indeed. So I'd like to share with you 5 simple exercises, tools you can take away with you to improve your own conscious listening. Would you like that? Good. The first one is silence. Just 3 minutes a day of silence is a wonderful exercise to reset your ears and to recalibrate so that you can hear the quiet again. If you can't get absolute silence, go for quiet. That's absolutely fine. Second, I call this the mixer. So even if you're in a noisy environment like this, and we all spend a lot of time in places like this, listen in the coffee bar to how many channels of sound can I hear? How many individual channels in that mix am I listening to? You can do it in a beautiful place as well, like a lake. How many birds am I hearing? Where are they? Where are those ripples? It's a great exercise for improving the quality of your listening. Third, this exercise I call savoring, and this is a beautiful exercise. It's about enjoying mundane sounds. This, for example, is my tumble dryer. It's a waltz. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I love it. Or just try this one on for size. So mundane sounds can be really interesting if you pay attention. I call that the hidden choir. It's around us all the time. The next exercise is probably the most important of all of these. If you just take one thing away, this is listening positions. The idea that you can move your listening position to what's appropriate to what you're listening to. This is playing with those filters. You remember I gave you those filters at the beginning? It's starting to play with them as levers, to get conscious about them and to move to different places. These are just some of the listening positions or scales of listening positions that you can use. There are many. Have fun with that. It's very exciting. And finally, an acronym. You can use this in listening, in communication. If you're in any one of those roles, and I think that probably is everybody who's listening to this talk. The acronym is RASA, which is the Sanskrit word for juice or essence. And rasa stands for receive, which means pay attention to the person, appreciate, making little noises like, oh, okay. Summarize, the word so is very important in communication, and ask questions afterwards. Now, sound is my passion, it's my life. I wrote a whole book about it, so I live to listen. That's too much to ask for most people. But I believe that every human being needs to listen consciously in order to live fully, connected in space and in time to the physical world around us, connected in understanding to each other, not to mention spiritually connected, because every spiritual path I know of has listening and contemplation at its heart. That's why we need to teach listening in our schools as a skill. Why is it not taught? It's crazy. And if we can teach listening in our schools, we can take our listening off that slippery slope to that dangerous, scary world that I talked about and move it to a place where everybody is consciously listening all the time, or at least capable of doing it. Now, I don't know how to do that, but this is TED. And I think the TED community is capable of anything. So I invite you to connect with me, connect with each other, take this mission out, and let's get listening taught in schools and transform the world in one generation to a conscious listening world, a world of connection, a world of understanding, and a world of peace. Thank you for listening to me today.
Wasn't that amazing?
Absolutely.
That's amazing. This is what listening is. This is the power of listening. Conscious listening helps us live a life of fulfillment.
Sir, fantastic.
Thank you, Ajit sir. Thank you. And ये सब हमें एक दूसरे के साथ share करना है. I wish more people attend sessions such as these. But anyways, जितने भी लोग होते हैं, so we need to spread this word, share what you're learning with others, and let us make this world a world of peace, of love, of harmony, not of hatred, not of jealousy, not of envy.
This recording is something which I'm going to visit again and again. I really enjoyed today.
Thank you. Sir.
As I said, much beyond communication, much beyond
Correct.
communication. If you understand these things, life, as you said, would be
Beautiful.
very harmonious, very peaceful, and you really enjoy from that angle. Great. Ajit Bhai is right.
સર પટેલ સર હમણાં જે વર્ચ્યુઅલ ક્લાસીસ ને વર્ચ્યુઅલ મીટિંગ ને કોન્ફરન્સ ને આ બધું થાય છે એમાં લિસનિંગ નું જે કોમ્પોનન્ટ છે એ અટમોસ્ટ નેસેસરી અને ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ થઈ જાય છે અને લિસનિંગ વિશે આપણે આ બધી જે જાણકારી લીધી મને નથી લાગતું કે બધાને એની જાણ હશે. અત્યારે રિસન્ટલી
The TED Talk speaker also said that why is listening as a skill not taught in the school? It is not being taught.
યસ યસ અને બીજું હમણાં છે ને એક ગાયત્રી મંત્ર ઉપર છે એમ્સમાં રિસર્ચ થઈ હતી અને એ લોકોએ ફાઇન્ડ આઉટ કર્યું કે આ મંત્રનું રિસાઇટેશન કરવાથી બ્રેન ઉપર માઇન્ડ ઉપર કેટલી અસર થાય છે. એટલે જે સત્સંગમાં કહે છે ને આપણે કથા સાંભળીએ એકવાર સાંભળવાથી આપણને નોલેજ થઈ જાય અને આપણું મોક્ષ થઈ જાય, કલ્યાણ થઈ જાય એવું નથી હોતું. એને વારે ઘડીએ સાંભળવું પડે, એનાથી આપણા બાયોલોજીકલ જે હાર્મોન્સ છે એની ઉપર ઇફેક્ટ આવે છે. એટલે લિસનિંગ એઝ અ સાઉન્ડ અને લિસનિંગ એઝ એ કન્ટેન્ટ એઝ એ ઇન્ફોર્મેશન એ બધી રીતે એનું જે રિસર્ચ કરવા જઈએ તો અટમોસ્ટ નેસેસરી છે, બહુ જ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ છે. અને આ દ્રષ્ટિએ જોવા જઈએ તો એકલવ્ય જે ગુરુ પાસે જે એમણે શિક્ષા લીધી એ તો એના કરતા ફેન્ટાસ્ટિક કહેવાય કે એને કશું સાંભળ્યું જ નથી, જાતે જ બધું ઊભું કર્યું છે.
Super, very nice. Right, so I'm happy